Hi everyone. So this is going to be a tutorial for a tower card. A tower card has slots put in so that it bends and stands up and makes an interesting feature. Now it doesn't look much when you look at it like that, but let's first see a few samples to give you the idea of where we're going. Right. This one is a lovely one where I've got steps all the way down and stands up like that. This one I've used double-sided card, so it's attractive on the back too. Okay, so that's one. This one I have used a printed sheet and just added a few little extra details. Let's pop that one back there and that one back there. Okay, so that again was a lovely one. This one I've only put a few of the little bits of the tower on it. So I've managed to get large panels across top and bottom and a rectangle in the middle. You will see from this that there are lots and lots of ideas that you can do. This one I've just done the tower bit top and bottom and left a middle panel. This was one I reduced to a 6 by 6, and instead of doing a small pop out, I've just done 3 sections of the pop out and not cut them, so now they form a little box. If I turn it that way, you can see it forms a little box that you can fill with stuff. All of these fold flat to go in a normal envelope. Now let's have a look at another option. This one I just did steps at the top and the bottom of the tower. I've put little side panels, but I've also done a double layer on the back so that you can actually look through. If you cut an aperture here, I've lost a piece of peel off there, but I'll find that in a minute. Okay, so reminds me of the milk tray advert, but again it all folds flat to go in an A5. That has an A5 card, C5 envelope. Okay, so it sounds a little bit complicated to begin with, but once you understand how to do it, you can do whatever you like with it. So there is a lady called Sam Calcott, and she has designed a die to cut out the steps all the way down the side, but I like to try and do things myself. So I have cut, I'll try and get those out of the way a minute. I have cut my A4 and I've trimmed it along the width to 29. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at this now, and we're going to score. So we're going to take the scoreboard and we're going to score at 3.5, 7, and we're putting a notch at 10.5. So we're going to go 3.5, 7, and at 10.5 we're going to just put a notch there and a notch at the bottom. Turn it round and we're going to do exactly the same. 3.5, 7, and a notch at 10.5, top and bottom. Okay, so put that to one side. Right, I am now going to do a valley fold followed by a mountain, and the same on this one, a valley fold followed by a mountain. So there you can see we've got our basic shape. Okay, so I want to flick the back pieces so that I have a double layer down here. We've got our notches top and bottom, and we want to work on the back half of it. Now, a nifty little way of doing it, you can put it on your scoreboard and come down every 1.5 centimetres to this first line. Right, I prefer to mark my pieces, and I've made myself a ruler that is every 1.5 centimetres. So I'm going to go on and I'm going to go all along, making a little pencil mark. Okay, I'm then coming back down here to the next crease, and I'm just going to put a little mark there so it gives me something to aim for with my scissors. Turn it round, do exactly the same on the other side. You'll see later on why it's so useful for doing it this way. Slide down to the next one, and this is where you want a nice sharp pair of scissors, because we're going to cut the slots. Okay. This one is going to have steps all the way down it. So I now cut through 2 layers, and having the little notch, the little pencil mark here, means you're going to get straight lines. And make sure you go right to the crease. Now there is one extra crease that we need to do on the scoreboard, but I will tell you about that in a minute, because it will change whichever design you do. So, nearly there. Turn it round. There's all my slits. We'll talk about how to change your design as we go. Right, now, there we go. I'm going to stop there for a moment, because I want to just reiterate, you don't have to go all the way down. Okay, so this one I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 slits, 4 slits. This one I only have 1 slit. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 slits. So however many slits you have, we want to put an extra score line. It's difficult to explain, but if I line up that there, because I've got slits all the way down, I'm going to score all the way down. Okay, the same with this one. I'm matching up my notches. There we go. Right, and now I have my slits open all the way down. Okay, I'm just going to put that to one side for a second and just show you this, so that if I came down 3.5, 7, little notch at 10.5, 3.5, 7, little notch at 10.5. Right, valley, mountain, valley, mountain, back to the basic bit, fold that in, and what if I wanted to make 3 bits here? Right, so if I mark 1, 2, 3, mark the same here. There we go. Now, just to be really awkward, I guess, if I turn that round, what if I wanted to do a slit there, and a slit there? So we've got different on each side. Okay. Cut down. Right. Now, if we open that out, you will see we don't need a whole score line there. All we need is to score between those. On this one, score between those. If you've cut it through 2 layers, you should be able to put your score tool on and go straight for it. So let's have a look what we can do. Poke that one back, forward, back. Just put your fingers in the back and squash. Back, forward, back, squash, and we squash the whole lot down. So, can you see I haven't even had to do the same both sides, but you only needed to score where your slits are. So let's go back to the one we did earlier, and I'm going to poke first one back, miss one, poke one back, and I'm putting my fingers down the back, and as I've done a few, I'll just squash it, and that just helps to keep them poked to the back. Okay, and I'm going to poke that one back. Okay, so there's our first ladder, and make sure that side panel is standing up nicely. Okay, so that one was back, so this one I'm going to go forward, back, forward, and just give it a little squash. It's a little bit fiddly to begin with. It doesn't matter if they pop back up, just go back, I have actually got into the habit now of putting a ruler down through just to hold them in place. So I'm going to fold those in. That comes forward, once you've done it a few times, they stay exactly where you want them to do. There we go, that one forward, back. Right. Okay, so there is the back of our ladders. Turn it round, and there is the front. So I'll put it flat there just to show you. Now, if we were to just do basic panels, 2.5 by 20 would go down here, and you'd need a mat 3 by 20.5. So I've already gone ahead and done that. And you have a little white area top and bottom and each side. There we go. So this is the fun bit where you start to decorate it. Here we go. I want to make sure that it's the same way up. There we go. So there is my 2 outside panels, and you can lie it flat. I've got 2 here, one with a bird on it and one with a door. I think I'm going to put the bird on this one. So there we go, there's our centre panel. Okay, that's how it will be when you send it. Those bits come in, or they could go behind, and it fits in your envelope. Right. Now I've sorted out a few bits of odd decoupage that I had left over, and this isn't going to go on the side, so I'm going to put it on my main panel. A bit more there. Now, because this is the width of the card, it doesn't matter if your decoupage flows over onto here. Okay, I've got another one here. Okay, and I'm going to put that one on there. So this one is going to go on here. And that will appear to be just floating on those steps. I've got another bit of that decoupage here, which I'm going to add onto there. So long as you don't go past these steps, you can add whatever you like onto these. Now I've got another piece on there. No, that's covering up too much of my design. So I'm going to leave it at that. So there is your card with the steps the whole of the way. Okay, so I'm going to try and just slide that to one side while we go back and we'll have a look at some of the samples. So slide this one to the side. This one, the steps are going all the way down, so that's exactly the same as this other one that we've just done. Plain panels on here, and I've added flowers to the side, and it doesn't matter that these are overlapping at all. That's exactly the same as our sample that we did. Right, this one, again, I've left, let me get a ruler out, and you can see that I've missed the 2, and then I've just marked every one down here and missed the bottom 2. Okay, so it gave me a bigger area at the bottom to put my boat onto. Right. Let's have a look at this one. So this one, again, if we bring in the ruler, I've just done the top 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bottom 4. Okay. When it goes together, it gives me a broad panel here because we didn't put the steps down here. A broad panel in the middle, and it gives me a space for 2 small panels, top and bottom. Okay, let's bring in this one beside it. You can see we had a whole panel coming down the middle. This one we've been able to split so that we've got 3 panels. Let's go for this one. Now, this one we did cuts and made steps in the top and the bottom. This one we've just done the steps in the middle. So it's allowed me a big panel across the top, big panel across the bottom, and this panel in the middle. Now let's just turn it over, because I don't know if you can see the centre topper does overlap the steps a bit. Okay, it doesn't matter because when it goes in the card, it's not interfering at all. Now, the other thing that I've added on this one is on the steps, I've put 1 centimetre strips just to take the pattern right the way down. Right. I've also done 1 centimetre strips on these steps that come out, and I've done a couple of smaller panels on the outside. So that was really taking it a lot further, but they're just simple additions. All you have to decide is how big your topper is and how you want to put your steps in. Right, let's go to this one. If I bring back my ruler, this was a 6x6 card, and I just allowed 1, 2, 3 steps to the bottom that I didn't cut, and I only did 1 cut, so this is a huge step and nothing on the back. I really had fun doing these. Right, this one was the first one that I did. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 steps at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 steps at the top, and I've just done this panel here, not the one going back, 2 side panels. Right, but when we look at this one, I've got 1 sheet of A4 that was cut down, and I've scored it at 3.5, 7, and turned it round 3.5, 7. That's all there was to it. So it then gives me a 15 centimetre panel to put my decoration in, and I've die cut the aperture so that I can look in to the card. So again, it will squash flat to go in a C5 envelope, and when it opens, it makes a really substantial card. Okay. Right, so that's one other thing I was going to show you was I'd made this one where I had 1, 2, 3, 4 steps at the top, 4 at the bottom. which matches this, and I could have put that together. I could have had things in the centre so it gave more interest looking at it, and any writing panels can go on a panel on the back. So you can see there are hundreds of variations, but you can go, if you look up Sam Calcott, she does have a die that will do all the steps down so that you haven't got the measuring, but if you don't have the die, then this card's for you as well. Just make yourself a little gauge for how big you want your steps, and then just have fun. Right, I'd love to see, as usual, what you make, but have fun, and if you've got any problems, please contact me and I will be able to help you. God bless.